Let's start with the play that essentially broke the Broncos back, which was the Drake May keeper, and for a first down, and that essentially sent the Patriots to the Super Bowl, Mark. And we're learning that May and Josh McDaniels dialed up the play themselves and didn't tell the offensive line to help sell it better. Has that ever happened to you, Mark?
Yeah, I'll going all the way back to my Idaho days. I don't know if you can see this.
Yes.
University of Idaho.
Yes, sir.
Under Dennis Erickson, we used to do it all the time. We would run a run pass option. We would call the run play. And then if you had a slot receiver, because we were always in 3 wide sets, if you had a slot receiver that was uncovered and somebody was 12 yards off him, the quarterback had the free-for-all or the right just to throw it over there. And so you'd be into like a handoff to the right, we call it 34 dive or whatever it was. And all of a sudden, the linebacker that you're comboing up to, you're like, oh, here I come. And all of a sudden, he just takes off and goes the opposite way because the quarterback threw it out there. So it's great that the offensive line didn't know, because they're going to execute that play and make it look like a run. And that will effectively hold the outside edge. And that was Jonah Ellis out there, held the edge there, and he barely made that first down. But if you don't sell that, Ellis gets to him and stops it before the first down, and the Broncos get the ball back and then probably go 3 and out. Oh, wait, did I say that?
Nice.
The Broncos get the ball back and still don't score. So, but the bottom line is it's a great execution, great plan by both Josh McDaniels and Drake May. And I think it's the right way to go. Don't tell anybody, man. This is what we're doing, because it's going to affect the defense that much more.
All right, so then let's get to the tongue-in-cheek portion of your commentary about the Broncos offense and what you thought of the day in total for Denver.
So I went back through it, Rich, and you've got 18 or 17 games in a regular season. You got a playoff game, and then you get to the AFC Championship. And I get it that it's your backup quarterback, but the number of mistakes, just the blocking assignment mistakes, and just the lack of execution as an offense. And Sean Payton, I agree with him. He came out and said, "Hey, man, I'm not worried about our quarterback. I'm not worried about Jared Stidham as much as I am worried about everybody else doing their job." And there were just so many breakdowns of lack of getting to the second level or chasing the second level and not blocking the first level up front. Their run game was atrocious. It was embarrassing. And a lot of it was due to just lack of communication and lack of execution. And those things, to me, like, what are you doing? You're in the AFC Championship with a backup quarterback. Those are the things that have to be executed well, and they just flat weren't all day long. And then I get to the 4th down and 1 situation from your own 14-yard line in the second quarter. The Patriots at that point have had 12 yards, 12 plays, and 12 yards of total offense. And, if you listen to my radio show in the morning, we had the weather guy on. You knew it was going to get blustery in the second half. Maybe you didn't listen. I can't believe you didn't listen. You knew it was going to get blustery. It's going to get snowy. If you go up 2 scores in the second quarter and your defense is playing the way they were playing, and you've shut them down for 12 yards on 12 plays, you kick that field goal and it almost becomes insurmountable. And then you start thinking about, how would that game plan have changed? All of a sudden, you're going to put Drake May in a situation where, hey, man, we're going to rush him. He's going to have to drop back. Now the strip sack fumble situations that have come up the last 2 weeks, 6 fumbles, 3 lost fumbles in their first 2 playoff games, maybe those things come up. Maybe you're the one that gets to turn over close to your own end zone. All those different things. I just thought, again, and this is endemic of the league in general, I thought it was a horrendous decision not to kick a field goal. And I'm back in Peyton Manning's suite with Peyton Manning, Brandon Stokely, myself, and Mike Shanahan. We were all 4 of us were like, kick the field goal, kick it, just kick it. And, but again, that's part of this league, and that's part of the trend of this league that I personally just have a really tough time with.
You and me both. And again, I know there's math, and I know there's probabilities, and I know there's percentages, and I understand, you're saying a 2-score lead, 10 points would feel insurmountable. Well, then 14 would even be what's insurmountable plus.
Right.
But that's the 2 in the bush with the bird in the hand with a 31-yard field goal, and the other bird in the hand is, you're saying, the Doppler radar picture. You know,
right. Well, and the other thing is even though you had at that point 127 yards of offense, most of it was on one big throw over the top to Mims that was just a bust in coverage. Other than that, you really hadn't done much, and you had done nothing in the running game. So all of a sudden, like if I'm sitting there as a defense, and these are the things I think you have to think about, and it's hard to think about them in the moment. If you're sitting there saying, hey, man, we haven't run it for 2 inches. All right. So the defense really isn't going to respect that. And then on that particular play, man, you completely misblocked it. They shifted down inside to make it almost a 6-1 front, and you didn't know who to block. And so you turn not one, but 2 guys free in the face of Jarrett Stidham. And that play was doomed from the start. And there were guys that were going to be open had it been blocked up, but you just didn't get it done. So you had made mistakes. You hadn't run the ball. You know the New England Patriots are probably playing the pass in that situation. Like all those factors are stacked up against you, and still you went for it. And I get it. I mean, you got to make a gamble. You got to try to make a play every now and again. But I think eventually, it cost you the game.
And my follow up to all this, Mark Schlereth, is a bit of a page turn in our conversation here. Where you're saying you watch the film, you see a lot of missed blocking assignments, inability to get to the second level by the Broncos blocking scheme. But you also did say in that crucial 4th and 1, I watched it too. I watched New England pre-snap go ahead and make some movement with their defensive line to pack it in tight in the middle, and they got free runners. So shouldn't we tip our cap a little bit to a Patriots defense that is now going to have their hands full with Seattle in Super Bowl 60, Mark?
Absolutely. I thought the Patriots, like all things considered, I thought they didn't panic. They knew what kind of game it was. And, you know, when you look at the way they controlled the tempo of that game and the lack of panic, you know, when they went down 7-0, they're still trying to run the ball. You look at Stevenson still had, I think, 25 carries. He was averaging maybe 3 yards a carry. There was nothing there in the running game that said, hey, man, let's keep pounding this. And yet they kept doing it because they knew in the end our defense is really good, and we're playing against a backup quarterback and a team that doesn't run the ball well. And we're just going to bide our time and let them make the mistakes. And it goes back to the Bill Belichick thing. He used to say it all the time, and I agree with him, is more games are lost than won. And that game, to me, and you tip your cap to New England because they did a great job, but that was more lost by the Broncos than necessarily won by the Patriots.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.